Hello and welcome. A very good morning to all our viewers. You're watching the newspaper show with me, Poonam Burde. Over the next half an hour, we're going to get you all the headlines that are in the top newspapers this Sunday morning. Let's begin with the Times of India and what it holds for its readers this Sunday morning. It talks about a need to remove fear of COVID to kickstart business. That's a statement coming in from Arvind Kejriwal, who's the Chief Minister of the national capital. He says that there will be permission that will be sought to restart the metro in the national capital. He's also flagged economic woes. People are losing jobs, businesses are getting affected, and there is widespread distress. People should actively start participating in economic activities while taking all precautions. This is a quote coming in from Arvind Kejriwal. He says that the centre's timing in preventing migrants from going home was very bad. Ultimately, they had to send them home, but by then, COVID situation had deteriorated. Those who went back later carried the infection to their villages. This is the interview with Arvind Kejriwal, which is the top headline in the Sunday Times this morning. He says that there is a need to remove the fear of COVID. This is very important for the revival of the economy. He also says that an alternative to BJP and Congress will emerge. He says he criticized both the BJP and the Congress for precipitating the Rajasthan crisis. This comment comes in the wake of the constitutional crisis that is taking place in neighboring Rajasthan. He says that observing there was a vacuum at the national level, he said the main opposition party, the Congress, is dead and there seems to be no alternative to the BJP. People are happy with neither BJP nor the Congress. In such a scenario, an alternative will definitely emerge in the country in the future. Only time will tell what that alternative will be. That is a big comment coming in from Arvind Kejriwal, the Chief Minister of Delhi, and of course the party chief of Aam Aadmi Party. He's saying in the context of the constitutional crisis in Rajasthan that there will be an alternative to the BJP and the Congress. Staying on the same page as Rajasthan and what the Chief Minister of Delhi said, now after Governor queries, the Chief Minister of Rajasthan, which is Ashok Gehlot, has said that there is a need for a session to discuss the COVID-19 pandemic. I quote Ashok Gehlot, he says, in a democracy, the key aspect is who has the majority. When the majority is with us and we want to go to the floor of the House, it is beyond comprehension why we should be stopped. Now, the leader of opposition, Gulab Chand Kataria, who is the BJP MLA in Rajasthan, says that the method adopted to demand an assembly session was unfortunate. Staging a dharna at the Raj Bhavan till the governor does not give in to their demand is immoral and unconstitutional. This, of course, is in the context of the drama that unfolded in the lawns of the Governor House in Jaipur in Rajasthan, where we saw Gehlot parade as MLAs. A few days ago, they sat on the lawns there and sought permission from the governor for a special session. This, of course, comes at a time when Sachin Pilot and his MLAs have got reprieve from the court, and it is now for Gehlot to keep his flock together to ensure he has the majority. That's the big story as far as Rajasthan and the constitutional crisis is concerned. As far as COVID is concerned, Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister, which is Shivraj Singh Chauhan, has been admitted to a hospital after he tested positive for COVID-19. Now, he is the first Chief Minister across all states in the country to have been tested positive for COVID-19. He has been admitted to a private hospital. 61-year-old Chief Minister tweeted on Saturday, he said, I appeal to all my colleagues and all those who came in contact with me to get themselves tested for coronavirus. My close contacts have moved into quarantine. I am following all COVID-19 guidelines. That's the big story coming in from Madhya Pradesh. Also, high percentage of false negatives seed suspicions about the rapid antigen test. Now, the number of COVID-19 cases in the country is on the rise. We've seen over 50,000 fresh cases in the last 24 hours itself. Now, there are suspicions about the rapid antigen test, and that is because 15% false negatives only in the national capital have been recorded. In Mumbai, up to 65% who tested negative in the antigen test were later confirmed positive in the RT-PCR testing. The stats that Times of India today talks about is that between June 18th and June 21st in Delhi, around 15% who first tested negative were confirmed positive in the RT-PCR test. In Telangana, the health officials of the government are estimating that false negatives through antigen tests are 7%. Now, this, of course, is raising a concern among health officials in respective states. Also, at the central level, this is as far as India's COVID fight is concerned. India and China talk on Ladakh again next week. Remember, there have been several talks between the two countries after the June 15 standoff at the line of actual control. India and China will hold the 5th round of Corps Commander level talks next week to take forward the stalled disengagement process at Pangong So and Gogra Hot Springs, as well as to discuss the restoration of status quo in the Depsang Plains. There's also a blurb on this because we know it's been over a month. India has, of course, pushed China back as far as disengagement is concerned, but China, not staying true to its word, is still inside Indian territory. We are trying to push them back even further. Police have charged Sharjeel Imam with sedition. This happened yesterday. The Delhi police filed a charge sheet against former JNU scholar Sharjeel Imam, accusing him of delivering seditious speeches and inciting a particular section of the community to indulge in unlawful activities in a case related to anti-CAA rights. Now, this, of course, is about the violence that ensued in northeastern Delhi in the month of February. Sharjeel Imam, who is a former JNU scholar, he has now been accused of sedition. A charge sheet to that effect was filed by the Delhi police yesterday. The big story as far as students are concerned, Donald Trump has now said that no visa for new students in all online classes. That's the changing policy that has come in from the United States. The rule can affect 10 to 12% of foreign students, most of whom are believed to be Indians. It won't be applied to students who are already in the United States and enrolled in American schools on or before March 9th. That's the big story coming in from the Times of India as far as students and their education is concerned, especially in the United States. This, of course, is in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic. Moving on to what the Navbharat Times holds for its readers this Sunday morning. The big story, of course, is about India's COVID fight, the fight back against this pandemic. In the last 48 hours, 67,000 recovered. एक महीने पहले 5,600 ठीक हुए. It gives statistics about how in the last 1 month, the number of recovered people is only increasing. From 5,600, we've now gone to 67,000 people who have recovered across India, not just in the national capital. इस दौरान 1 लाख केस 24 घंटे में रिकॉर्ड 4.20 lakh टेस्ट किए गए. 4.5, close to 4.5 lakh tests have been conducted across the country in the last 24 hours. That's the big story, big headline in the Navbharat Times. Also, it speculates on what Prime Minister Modi's Mann Ki Baat could be. He says, PM Unlock 3 par aaj roshni dalenge. That's the question that the Navbharat Times is asking. At 11 a.m. today is when Prime Minister Modi is going to address the nation. It is his Mann Ki Baat. Will he talk about Unlock 3.0? That's the big question. Shivraj Corona se peedit pehle CM is also a blurb in the Navbharat Times. Shivraj Singh Chauhan yesterday told the country on Twitter that he was in fact COVID positive and is now admitted to the hospital. Another big story that the Navbharat Times talks about is what is going to ensue in Ayodhya on the 5th of August. Ayodhya mein 3 अगस्त से दिवाली, हर घर मंदिर में जगमगाएंगे दिए. This talks about the Bhumi Pujan that is going to take place on the 5th of August, where Prime Minister Modi is going to attend that particular event. This is, of course, for the construction of the Grand Ram Temple in Ayodhya. Bhumi Pujan के दिन VHP का mega plan. It talks about Vishwa Hindu Parishad and their mega plan of what's really going to happen on the Bhumi Pujan day, which is the 5th of August. Nepal police ने भारतीय महिला को पीटा, firing की is a small blurb. Also, we have been seeing several instances of aggression from soldiers of the army of Nepal. This is another incident coming through. Another big story is from Maharashtra, and this is from Sangli. 400 साल पुराना बरगद बचाने को चिपके लोग तो highway मोड़ा. It talks about how the National Highways Association of India have changed the plan for a particular highway. This happened after people of Sangli decided to launch a particular movement. This is a big story that we're getting to you from the Sunday's Navbharat Times. Moving on to what economic news holds for its readers today. The Economic Times on Sunday comes out with its magazine. It's called the Economic Times Magazine. The big story is about, despite selling out a bold vision on electric vehicles early on, India is witnessing a slack adoption. That is the cover story this Sunday morning. The big story that they are leading with is, of course, the arrest of an ex-Microsoft executive who was arrested in the United States. This is on charges of fraud up to worth $5 million. He's an Indian origin technology executive in the Seattle area, and he was charged with fraudulently applying for more than $5.5 million in US small business loans and laundering some of the money into his personal brokerage account. That's the big story that the Economic Times leads with it today. ICICI Bank's June profit has risen about 36%. So that's good news coming in. The banking sector, as we all know, given the COVID-19 fight and the relief that has been given to the Aam Aadmi, has been under a lot of pressure. So the fact that ICICI Bank's net profit rose about 36% in the quarter that ended June, this is about 2,000 crore a year, from 1,900 crore a year earlier to about 2,599 crore in the quarter. ICICI Bank has now seen a profit of 36%. That's the big story as far as the banking sector is concerned. Economic Times also talks about ISIS terrorists being present in Kerala and Karnataka. This is a UN report. The UN report reads, and I'm going to quote what the report says, between 150 and 200 militants from India, Pakistan, Bangladesh and Myanmar are planning attacks in the Indian subcontinent. Current leader of AKIS is Osama Mahmood. 6,000 to 6,500 Pakistani terrorists are present in Afghanistan. 400 and 600 Al-Qaeda fighters in Afghanistan. This UN report on terrorism has warned that there are significant numbers of ISIS terrorists in Kerala and Karnataka, noting that Al-Qaeda in the Indian subcontinent terror group, which is reportedly between 150 and 200 terrorists from the 4 countries in this subcontinent. It also talks about Shivraj Singh Chauhan testing positive. That is the big story that finds mention in all 3 newspapers this morning. Also, of course, the big one is US barring entry of new foreign students for online-only classes. This is a declaration that came in from the Trump administration. The Economic Times magazine also goes on to talk about the Indian matchmaking show, which is making waves on social media. It is a show on the online platform of Netflix. We have seen people talk about it over the last couple of days. It has been quite a rage, in fact. By shying away from engaging deeply, Indian matchmaking wastes the opportunity to become a wonderful show about human connections. That's what the Economic Times magazine talks of today. These are the big headlines that we got for you from the top 3 newspapers. Let's move on to what the city editions hold for its viewers, for its readers this morning. Active cases are down to less than 10% in the national capital. The Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal has said that the situation is better, but the fight is still on. Kangana is now joining us for more on this. Now, Kangana, over 1,100 new cases of COVID-19 were recorded on Saturday. This has now pushed the city's caseload to about 1.3 lakh.
Well, exactly. That's the news that is coming in from the health bulletin that was released by the ministry, which says that Delhi has recorded 1,142 new cases on Saturday itself, and pushing the city's case hold to 1.3 lakh, while the death toll has also jumped to 3,806 till yesterday. Now, the good news about this is that Delhi's health minister Satyendra Jain has continuously maintained that the daily recovery rate of Delhi is approximately 5%, and yesterday was recorded as 5.5%. And in overall India also, the recovery rate has been approximately around 63.8%. So if we talk according to the data, there are people who have been recovering out of this. But Delhi, the good news for Delhi is that constantly the numbers of coronavirus have come down, where we have seen Delhi touching 4,000 or 3,000 per day for the last 4 to 5 days. We have been seeing how consecutively Delhi is recording numbers between 1,000 to 1,500 or max 2,000.
Right, Kangana, thank you for joining us with those details. Of course, the fight against COVID-19 continues, not just in the national capital, but across the country. Moving on to Mumbai now, a drop in new cases for a 4th straight day was witnessed. BMC, which is the civic body, is going to reach out to elderly in buildings. That's the big story coming in. Now, Mumbai breached the 6,000 mark in COVID-related deaths on Saturday, but the state registered a slight drop in the number of COVID-19 patients and deaths for a 4th consecutive day. So it is good news as far as the financial capital of this country is concerned. Arunil is now joining us for more on this. Arunil, adding to the fact that there is a slight drop in the number of cases, the number of recovered patients in the state has also surged beyond 2 lakhs.
Well, that is right, Poonam. In fact, the total number of cases in the state of Maharashtra is 3,66,000. and the total people who have recovered from the coronavirus is around 207,000. So that is also a significant mark. Yesterday, in fact, more than 9,000 cases were recorded on the fourth consecutive day in the state of Maharashtra. But at the same time, around 7,200 people also recovered and were discharged from COVID hospitals as well. So that is a major ray of hope. With respect to the city of Mumbai is concerned, Poonam, basically Mumbai crossed the 6,000 mark with respect to COVID deaths yesterday. 52 deaths were recorded in the city of Mumbai, and around 1,000 cases, just more than 1,000 cases were recorded in the city of Mumbai. One important thing that we need to note, Poonam, over here is basically the city of Pune as well as the Mumbai metropolitan region, basically Navi Mumbai, Thane, Mira Bhayandar, Kalyan, these places individually are recording more cases than the city of Mumbai. So mainly the hotspot has shifted to Pune as well as the MMR region, and the Maharashtra government will have to do some more functions over there to ensure that the cases come down.
Absolutely. The neighboring areas, districts of Mumbai are going to be of concern. The state government and the civic body will have to look into that. Arunil, for the moment, thank you for joining us. Moving on to what Bengaluru holds for its readers this Sunday morning. It talks about Yediyurappa's first year as Chief Minister for the fourth time. A tough year one for Yediyurappa in his fourth stint as Chief Minister. The challenges ahead for the Chief Minister are, of course, taming the virus spread and bringing economy back on track. It has, in fact, been a tumultuous tenure of 1 year for the Chief Minister. But the big story that Bengaluru's edition of the Times of India talks about today is the bed bungle that is going to prove costly again for Bengaluru. Now, despite the minister's claims that the COVID-19 bed management system has been streamlined in Bengaluru, one can check the availability at the click of a button, he says. Patients and their families, unfortunately, are continuing to have a torrid time while seeking hospital admission. Deepak is now joining us for more on this. Deepak, the Times of India today talks about a particular case about a 70-year-old resident from Bengaluru who suggested that hospital beds that are being listed for occupancy, but they were not really vacant. He is, of course, just one aspect of it, but we've seen several such complaints come in.
Well, the dashboard that the government is talking about, the question is how useful is it? Now, yes, it does show you bed availability. It shows you bed availability across hospitals, in Bengaluru. But the point is whether it does it show you individual hospitals, zonal hospitals. For example, if a person from North Bangalore, if he goes around searching for hospitals, there could be, tens of hospitals that he could come across, and each of them could have no beds at all. So the dashboard does not clearly mention which hospital has how many beds. It just gives you an overall count, and that too, of course, is volatile. And that's the concern that the including this man, where they go from one hospital to another and they're asked to move away. And this is crucial time. From home to hospital sometimes itself, could be the lifesaver. And most of the people who are losing their lives, are reaching hospitals late, and that's the biggest concern.
Right, that's the biggest concern there, Deepak. Thank you for the moment for joining us with that. It is going to be a tough task for not just the civic body, but also for Yediyurappa as the Chief Minister and his entire cabinet to work on really fighting back COVID, because Bengaluru, remember, is emerging as one of the new urban hotspots. Moving on to Chennai now, a former pilot has brought home stranded Indian citizens. Hotels have been shut in Chennai, across Tamil Nadu as well. But chefs are now moving to cloud kitchen complaints. But the biggest story is about the complaint against the ABVP president. Now, after social media outrage, Chennai police finally registered a women harassment case against the Akhil Bharatiya Vidyarthi Parishad national president. This was based on a complaint by his neighbor. Since July 11th, the elderly woman had been trying to lodge a complaint saying that this person in question resorted to several acts of harassment, all of which were captured on CCTV cameras at her house. Shabir is now joining us for more on this. Shabir, what are the details of this particular case?
Well, last evening an FIR was registered against the national president of ABVP, and after that there were talks that took place between the complainant and the person who was accused of these crimes at the apartment level. The RWA of the apartment complex, they had to intervene, and they intervened, and they held a meeting with the complainant, and they promised them that such incidents will not happen in future. And based on that, the complainant has withdrawn the complaint, and that is what the ABVP has also, said in their tweet and a press release saying that there was a minor dispute between the doctor's family and a neighbor who's staying in that same apartment. But the allegations that were leveled against him are exaggerated, and the CCTV footage is doctored. Whereas I spoke to the complainant, and the complainant says that this harassment has been going on for quite some time, and they were patiently waiting so that the doctor stops doing something like this. But he never stopped, and that is the reason why they had to, have CCTV cameras fixed outside the doorstep of the woman to try and understand what exactly he is trying to do and how he is harassing over a petty property, parking slot dispute. So now that the complaint has been withdrawn, it remains to be seen what happens next, whether there will be some kind of action that will be taken against the doctor by the ABVP itself.
Right, of course, we'll keep an eye out on what exactly happens in that particular case. For the moment, Shabir, thank you for joining us with those details. Moving on to what Kolkata holds for its readers this Sunday morning. The biggest one, of course, and bringing cheer to the people of Kolkata is the fact that Eastern Railway has decided to operate 8 local suburban trains after a gap of 4 months. The first one was on Saturday. This is to help passengers who had arrived by 5 long-distance trains at Howrah. It was to help them reach from Howrah to closer stations closer to their home. That's the big information coming in from Kolkata. Also, 123 have been arrested from Bidhan Nagar alone for flouting rules. This, of course, is lockdown rules. We've seen that the city has gone under stricter rules again because of the number of cases that are on the rise. Cops' night drive before lockdown saves the day hit streets by 11 p.m. on Friday to send out no let-off message. This was the police of Kolkata sticking to the rule book, throwing the rule book at people, asking them to stay at home, to maintain lockdown norms, and to ensure that when you do step out for essentials, all social distancing norms, especially the wearing of a mask, is carried out to the T. Caught unawares by flight cancellation, flyers wait outside the airport terminal. This was at Kolkata Airport. Chaos ensued there on Saturday, we're given to understand. This after several flights were cancelled, but those passengers, those flyers who were supposed to be on board those flights weren't intimated on time. That led to a little bit of a chaos at the Kolkata Airport. 5th city cop has died of COVID in Kolkata, unfortunately. The headquarters wants barracks protected. That's the demand coming in from the Kolkata police, from the headquarters to the Mamata Banerjee government. We'll, of course, have to wait and watch as to what really happens in that particular matter. Moving on to what is making headlines globally. The biggest story in the Times of India about the global expansion of China is China expanding influence operation in the United States. Russia and Iran too are trying to meddle in elections. That is what US intel agencies are now gathering. United States intel officials have issued a public warning that China was expanding its influence efforts in the United States before the presidential election, along with Russia and Iran, but Democrats briefed on the matter said the threat was far more urgent than what the administration described. That's the public warning that has come in from the United States intel agencies. We're also given to understand that 40-plus nations have recorded one-day rise in the past week. Nearly 40 nations saw record one-day rise in past week. That's what the big global headline is. Lab studies find 21 existing drugs stop virus from replicating. That is, of course, good news coming in. Moving on to what the sports world holds for its readers today. Stuart Broad sparked a top-order collapse after starting with the bat as England reduced the West Indies to 137 for 6 at the stumps. This happened on the second day of the decisive third test at Old Trafford. Karishma is now joining us for more on this. Karishma, England had slumped to 280 for 8 after losing 4 wickets, but Stuart Broad's 62 took them to the first innings.
Phyllis, absolutely. Stuart Broad became the all-rounder that England was looking for. First shining with the bat, with that swashbuckling 62 after the top-order collapse, and then reducing the West Indies to 137 for 6 on stumps at day 2. West Indies are now behind by 232 runs on day 2 of the England versus West Indies test. Remember, this is a very, very interesting test match because the series is tied at 1-1, and this test match is going to be the decider as to who wins the series between England and West Indies. Right. After the COVID-19 pandemic. The first test series, the first cricketing action that we are seeing between England and West Indies. West Indies trailing by 232 runs currently, Poonam.
Right, West Indies is currently trailing, but we have a better part of that particular test still on for them to come back. We'll, of course, keep an eye out on that. But that's all we could pack in for you in the newspaper show. Back with more updates and headlines on the other side of a quick break. Stay with us.